Hello, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Iframe. I speak about career and personal finance. And in this video, I will be speaking around interview preparations. A lot of people do interviews every now and then, and I thought it valuable to just provide some insight based on my experience in the job market. I'm going to break the video down into three different parts. And in the first part, I will be answering the question, tell us about yourself. How to answer that question. Tell us about yourself. And in the second part, I will be speaking about behavioral questions. What are they and how to answer them? And the part three of this series, I'll be talking about body language. How the wrong body language can cost you. You might want to know that tell us about yourself question can come in different formats. Another way an employer can ask you this question is, why should we hire you? That's another way they can ask you. So I'm going to break it down in the simplest form so that you can follow and practice. Remember, no one becomes automatically good at something without practicing, especially for interview. If you have done the hard work of getting your foot to the door with your CV and you have now been invited for an interview, then you should make your best use of the opportunity that you have. So I'll break this question down for easy assimilation into three parts. And the first part is how to prepare your elevator page. And the second one is how to tell your story of your experience and tie it to the job that you're being interviewed for. And the last part, common mistakes that you should avoid when answering this question. So the first part, how do you prepare your elevator pitch? The first thing you should do is state your current role, your current job. You introduce yourself by stating your current job. For example, say, I'm a project manager and I manage a diverse cross-sectional team. That gives a headline. So the interviewer wants to hear more. And so you go to the next one, which is, what exactly have you done as a project manager? You can say, in my last project, I was able to save the company a 15% cut in the cost, and we are able to deliver on time. So in the first part, you have said what you are, a project manager, and you manage a cross-functional team. In the second part, you have now said exactly what you do and how you are efficient in what you do. Now, that's not enough. The other point you need to know is how all of this can add value and to the business. So you can say that from the job advert, you understand that the most important criteria for who to select is efficiency. And efficiency is one of your core competence and something that drives you. So I will just say this speech again so that you can understand what I'm saying. So I'm a project manager and I manage a cross-functional team. In my last project, I was able to save the business a 15% reduction in cost, and we're able to deliver the project on time. From my understanding, this role that you are interviewing for, one of the major KPIs is efficiency. And I can tell you for a fact that efficiency is one of my area of core competence. If you were the interviewer, from what I've said, and you're looking for a project manager with efficiency advantage, I'm sure you won't hesitate to offer me the job with just that part. Anyways, you don't just get to that delivery automatically, and that is telling your story, how to effectively tell your story of experience to the job that you're being interviewed for. And how to go about that is, one, researching about the business, understand what the business is about. How did I find out that what they are concerned about or their key KPI is efficiency? That's because I saw it in the job adverts and I did some research on the business and how they're big on cost. So research the business, understand what they are really looking for. And once you do that, you tailor your experience to that requirement. Tailor your experience to that requirement. And the third and final part is practice. You know what they want, you have what it takes, you practice, rehearse. We call that dry run in my office. So when you have a pitch to want to present to clients, you have a dry run. So do that. You can do it with anyone. You can do it with your child. It just helps you to be freer when you're communicating. You can do it with your spouse, if you have one, or friend, or anyone at all. And that helps you to master that part. Things that you can avoid, which is the final part of this how to answer the question, tell us about yourself, is don't give too simple response. That's being vague. For example, I'm hardworking. Business, understand what the business is about. How did I find out that what they are concerned about or their key KPI is efficiency? That's because I saw it in the job adverts and I did some research on the business and how they're big on cost. So research the business, understand what they are really looking for. And once you do that, you tailor your experience to that requirement. Tailor your experience to that requirement. And the third and final part is practice. You know what they want, you have what it takes, you practice, rehearse. We call that dry run in my office. So when you have a pitch to want to present to clients, you have a dry run. So do that. You can do it with anyone. You can do it with your child. It just helps you to be freer when you're communicating. You can do it with your spouse, if you have one, or friend, or anyone at all. And that helps you to master that part. Things that you can avoid, which is the final part of this how to answer the question, tell us about yourself, is don't give too simple response. That's being vague. For example, I'm hardworking. What does that really mean? Give a concise example to say how hardworking you are. For example, from my story as a project manager, I can say there was a particular project, you can tell a story, and it required putting in more hours. Even though I had other things that I needed to do, I needed to now prioritize to ensure that I'm able to finish the project on time. So tell a story. Don't just give an example. That's the word. Give an example. Don't just say I'm hardworking. And another thing that you should try to avoid is being too personal. Some people give so much details by introducing themselves, the number of children their parents have, or anything like that. That's being too personal. You don't need all of that family detail when they're asking, tell us about yourself. Go straight to the point by not giving too much information. And the third part that you should avoid doing is rambling. It might be better to just give a few seconds to think about the question that's been asked, or ask the interviewer to rephrase that question so that you can understand, so that you can get it. Every interviewer is happy to do that. I've been on the other side of the table before, and I can tell you that when people ask us to repeat the questions, we do that. And it doesn't count against you. It actually buys you time to think about the answer while you do that. So avoid rambling. I hope you found this session useful. I'll just do a recap of what I suggested and how you can answer this question. Tell us about yourself. I said the first thing you should do is introduce yourself with your job description and exactly what you have done and how that will benefit the company. And the second step is researching the business. When you research the company, you're able to tell your story better based on your experience. And the third part is things that you should avoid. I'm saying rambling, too vague, and too personal. I hope you have enjoyed this session. I'll see you in part 2 when I'll be talking about behavioral questions, what they are, and how to answer them. I'll see you then. Bye bye.